about our first guest, Arjun Vajpayee. निदा फाजली साहब ने अपनी एक गज़ल में कुछ इस तरह कहा है, सफ़र में धूप तो होगी, जो चल सको तो चलो। सफ़र में धूप तो होगी, जो चल सको तो चलो। सभी है भीड़ में, तुम भी निकल सको तो चलो। This is, ladies and gentlemen, Arjun Vajpayee, the youngest Indian to climb Mount Everest. He achieved this feat when he was just 16 years, 11 months, exactly after 1 year. On 20th May 2011, he became the youngest person to summit the Lhotso at the age of 17. But Arjun did not stop here. After 3 failed attempts on Makalu, Arjun was youngest to summit on Manaslu in his 4th attempt on 4th October 2011. Before we further go ahead, फैज साहब की एक और कुछ लाइनें मुझे याद आती हैं जो कुछ इस तरह हैं। कुछ लोग तुम्हें समझाएंगे, तुमको ख्वाब दिखाएंगे, जो है वो भीख हो सकता है। इस राह में राहजन हैं इतने, कुछ और यहाँ हो सकता है। अरे कुछ तो अक्सर होता है, पर तुम जिस लम्हे में जिंदा हो, ये लम्हा तुमसे जिंदा है। यह वक्त नहीं फिर आएगा, तुम अपनी करनी कर गुजरो, तो होगा देखा जाएगा। That was fit for Arjun Vajpayee.
You had so many options, Arjun. You could have pursued so many different sports or athletic activities. You chose mountaineering. Were mountains calling you?
It was more of a very natural calling. I was always an athlete from a very young age. I'm still very young. From a younger age also, I was always very fascinated by the idea of sports. I was not a very good academic student. तो उस वजह से हमेशा ही for some or the other reason, whatever time and energy I invested into outdoors and sports, I got a much more better return at it in my life than what I got after having spent a lot of time studying. I used to be involved in basketball, football, volleyball, karate, badminton, taekwondo. So multiple sports I used to always be involved in. After I got done with a lot of sports across my schooling life, something which really got me going was the mountains.
You had so many options, Arjun. You could have pursued so many different sports or athletic activities. You chose mountaineering. Were mountains calling you?
By their charm, their hardships. I used to always like things which are difficult to get. And what better than mountains when you are actually trying to find a goal which is very difficult to get. I think I was somewhere down the line very satiated with the fact of sports because the outcomes were always under control. Nature and outdoors and mountains gave me a kind of a exploratory lab in which I could do all these tests and try and push my limits in every sense, not just at a physical level, but even in a mental space where I could grow and become the person who I am today. So definitely, it's been a very intertwined relation with the mountains, which I've had, even when they took me, even when I grew very arrogant last 1 decade, that I could climb mountains and there was a lot of air inside me about, no, I'm the strongest person and whatnot. So the mountains had their own way of humbling me down also.
You just talked about laboratory. And it is said that your blood system has got unique capability of holding much more oxygen than normal people can. Is it true?
I just feel that because most of my growing up days I spent in the 8,000 meter peak. Like I was climbing. I started climbing 8,000 meter mountain when I was 16 years old. So a lot of my development years I spent while almost in every 365 days of a year I was spending about 60 to 70 days in extremely high altitudes and trying to train almost every day I'm off the mountain, so that in my head I was stuck in there where I wanted to be the most deserving person who's getting to see the sunrise every day on these mountains. So I used to work out really hard, and I spent a lot of time in high mountains from the age of 16, 17, not just once, not just twice, but every year on a repeat. It became a part of my yearly routine where I used to go to an 8,000 meter mountain to attempt a new mountain or to finish a last year's unfinished project or unfinished climb. And out of the 13, 14 expeditions which I've done till date above 8,000 meters, every expedition almost from if I leave out two or three, apart from two or three expeditions, most expeditions we never started the journey with the same amount of people and finished the journey with the same amount of people. The accidents kept happening. The margin of error was very low on these expeditions, and always this question used to be hanging around your head that it could be me too, because left, right, and center you lose teammates on various expeditions. So over the years, I think I just got very used to the idea of 8,000 meter climbing as I grew up, and I definitely am very proud of that. I can move for a very long amount of times in high altitude. Nothing as such, but I think it's just a result of the last 10 years spent with persistence in high mountains.
Talking about avalanche, you yourself have been victim of one such avalanche. You were trapped, you were rescued, and you suffered paralysis. So how do you recover from such accidents and mentally make yourself stronger and keep yourself motivated?
There's a very famous mountaineer who's always quoted, "Your extremes are my normals." Said by Nimsda. He's a world-class mountaineer. He's inspired a whole generation of mountaineers by climbing some of the world's 14 of the world's highest mountain in less than 6 months. So he found better words or a person to quote better than this, because in mountaineering and in exploration, we know that the challenges which we are going to be facing or which we are going to be going through, uh, the mountain does not know the difference between a big mistake or a small mistake. It does not know the difference between a man and a woman. It does not know the difference between a child and a grown-up man. It treats everything with very equal perspective. Challenges are of many kinds, and in our field, unfortunately, the price of exploration, unfortunately, the price of those few moments which you spend on the summit of these very fantastic, beautiful, majestic mountains, some of the world's highest, uh, you do end up paying the cost with your own life. Let's not get in life, but most of the times, definitely there are cold injuries where you lose your ears or your fingers or your toes. So left, right, and center always things are happening, and I feel that I'm very lucky that after having done 12, 13 expeditions above 8,000 meters, I have all my 10 fingers and all my 10 toes. I think that's my biggest achievement. So this is just another one of those things from where I look at it, and I feel that everybody has a mountain in our lives which triggers us in a positive way. So for me, this is normal for me because I've always been doing it. It comes more naturally to me. Took up the thing of uh, doing things with my body, because I always felt that my psychomotor skills, my hand-eye coordination was much more better than other kids. My balance was much more better. So I felt that this is something which comes more naturally to me. That is why I am able to adapt to, like how my mother says that I am a little crazy in my head, because um, like when nothing is happening and everything is relaxed, I get very anxious. When things are going very fast and it's extreme and on the edge of my physical self, or my breath, or like at the very edge of my physical limitation, I feel a sense of calm. I feel a sense of a relaxing thing which gets released in my brain. So I feel that I'm built for something like this.
Am I right to believe that not only one should be scared of mountains, more than that, one should be respectful to the mountains? Is it true?
It's not about being scared. I feel it is just this force which probably they're talking about. It's uh, you have to be aware about your limitations in the mountain. A good mountain is the one who can come back in time. There's no mountain which is absolutely worth dying for. Adventure is absolutely not complete till the point you're able to come back and share your learnings which you've had with such close calls with nature. So I absolutely concur with the statement which you gave and with the mountaineer who must have said this, because uh, I I feel you can train for a better day. I feel judging the best days on a mountain is very necessary, and obviously, I feel that as you, us as a human species, our strongest source of energy is our survival instinct, right? So when we accept that we are scared to die, then comes a source of energy from very within. When we understand that yes, we can actually die while doing something like this, the attention, the 15,000 years of evolution which us as primates have gone through, I feel will it comes completely in front of you, and you're aware of it. So I think being aware of death, being aware of the outcome of what challenges you're taking up and what are going to be the consequences of this, gets you in the zone sometimes, gets you alert enough or vigilant enough to be able to cross that challenge, to be able to overcome that challenge. So I definitely feel that instead of like how Batman says that they say that I'm not scared of anything, but till the time he's not scared of anything, even his own death, he's not able to really push his limits. So I feel that one needs to be scared of death for sure.
So, am I right to believe that not only one should be scared of mountains, more than that, one should be respectful to the mountains? Is it true?
Known fact that we are mere specks of dust on the mountain. If the days when there are bad days on the mountain and you see the wrath of Mother Nature in it's one of its most virgin states, winds going above 120, 130 kilometers per hour, temperatures dipping down to minus 60, minus 70 degrees Celsius. You throw a cup of hot boiling water up in the air, it does not even touch the ground. So when you see the wrath of Mother Nature in front of you, it humbles you regardless of whether you are a religious person, where you are a practical person, where you are whether you are a believer in a higher energy or not.
Going to such lofty heights does one thing for sure. It makes you mature faster than normal boys. I remember after climbing Mount Everest, you have written somewhere, and I very vividly remember what was written there. You wrote, I went up there as a boy and came back as a man. So maturity process is very fast in your field. Every day records are being established only to be broken. Shelf life of not only the commodities but also the records is very short. And when things are changing so fast, do you see possibilities of converting your type of passion into profession?
For the last 15 years, I would say the outdoor community is very actively growing in India. There are more and more youngsters who are getting attracted towards the field of mountaineering. And because of such larger audiences actually now consuming, see, obviously, mountaineering and mountaineers are probably at the very end of the pyramid. I feel the larger community is really growing. The trekking community. I remember in 2010, people were only there were only 2 million people across India who were actively accessing the outdoors and adventure sports in India. And today, as of today in 2021, we have more than 25 million people who are actively accessing adventure sports. Consumers have become aware of the equipment which is available at their disposal to actually go and camp. Like people didn't even know how to actually go about camping and making their own food and stuff, but because of existence of stores like Decathlon, today the outdoor person is actually getting educated also of how, what all adventures would he like to do. So India is at a very rapidly booming pace of the outdoor community booming, not just the trekking and outdoor adventure community, but there are wildlife photography, there is adventure photography which is growing, the winter sports are growing, the government has taken special interest, sport climbing has become into an Olympic sport now and will be part of Tokyo Olympics. So definitely now the adventure community is definitely looking for large amount of jobs being created in the next 10 to 15 years. Government is taking interest in the Olympic aspect of mountaineering and sport climbing. There's winter sports which are now being held in places like Jammu and Kashmir and places like Gulmarg over there. So I think definitely from a wholesome aspect, adventure can be changed into a profession in today's world. Um, you can be a content developer in the field of adventure where you're a professional mountaineer and you're developing content. Children are making YouTube videos. I feel one should have no difficulty in changing if he's part of the adventure hemisphere to change their passion into a profession. Luckily, I have been able to do this over the last 1 decade also. Been able to fund most of my expeditions and travels through my sponsors, and also in return give them enough leverage so that, so I already run my school training programs. What I from very young age itself, my dad was like, if you want to do climbing, you got to learn how to fend for it also. So with my experience, I started a school training academy where we are present in over 200 schools across India. I started a company called Climb Up along with 2 to 3 more partners, and we provide class second to class 8 students across schools in India via 21, 22 adventure activities inside a school premises itself. We help them develop skills like basic psychomotor skills, leadership qualities, confidence building, and children are going through this. I run this simultaneously. We are also into manufacturing of climbing walls in India and provide for various paramilitary forces, for various ITBP, Rajasthan police. So we keep making climbing walls because now at a unit level also in the Indian Army and at other paramilitary forces as well, there's a high need for building climbing walls from a training aspect so that the Jawans, the officers can be trained physically on these walls. Then simultaneously, I also work as a motivational speaker. So we run Gallup certified training programs for top level management and also large sales teams and marketing teams, where I go in and I share my experiences from the mountains, learnings from the mountains, and, and channelize them and connect them to their immediate next goals and larger vision. So there's a lot of learnings which one can take in business also from mountaineering. So I work as a motivational speaker. Then I've also got into writing of books. So sharing my experiences to a point where now the book which I had written has got translated into Hindi and Marathi, 2 other languages, and excerpts from that book now have been picked up and are being taught in there's an incident where IGCSE and CBSE in 2018 took excerpts from my book and made a chapter in English literature across all their schools in class 8th chapter English literature. They have a chapter based on Arjun and his climb. So there are multiple things which I still want to do. I want to grow my school academy, for example. Then I also want to get into my dream is that every school in India should have a climbing wall. I feel that from a young age, when children start doing climbing, there's a sense of confidence. There's a sense of the muscle tissue fiber gets generated much better. They are more flexible. So I see the benefits of this sport and I want to put it in every school. Then I also want to start writing a comic book series, which we are doing with some publishers now, where a mountaineer will talk about the importance of plantation drives, the importance of Vriksharopan, the glaciers melting, global climate crisis.